Ja, dat is.
Nira, do you hear us?
미청타가.
参与这个，咱们是这个说，可能是 streaming 这个说。I see that Nira said she doesn't hear us. Do you hear us, Nira? Is someone not hearing us?
미청타가.
On Nira's side.
Hi everyone, this is Sibeli. I cannot seem to start my camera, so I don't know what happened, but I can hear everyone and I hope you can hear me.
We can hear fine. I guess it's a setting on your side, Nira.
Yeah, I don't know. I tried to organize, to fix it, but I can't. So.
Okay, that would be here. What? Okay, hello everyone. Hope everyone is doing well, getting ready to start the new semester. So, yeah, today actually we wanted just like to get a little bit of inputs from your side on Alex. Maybe some construction going on somewhere. Alex, oh yeah. Okay, so as I mentioned, like last time we met, so we are in the process of training a new team of teachers, guides, whatever you call them. Yeah. Okay. And yeah, we're also in the process of trying to improve like the material and you know, the activities, projects, you know, that will be the core of you know, the classes this semester. And so one very important element that we need to have is you know, what are the opportunities and the needs that you have you know, to use Tibetan language. And so right now we've all the teachers, so we're putting together what we think, or what the teachers think, you know, are the situations in your life, the real life situations, you know, where you actually need to use Tibetan in writing, speaking, etc. What are they're trying to guess what are the you know, the main like communication situations you are interested in, and the main topics that you're interested in. And so, yeah, one of the main feedback that we got, you know, from last year, and it's, you know, something that we know that is you know, still like a problem in our material and, you know, activities, is that most of the topics were designed for people who are in a Tibetan community. Actually, a lot of and you probably felt that too, is that, you know, just like one example that came up last time was, you know, for example, ordering foods in a restaurant and complaining about, you know, it like being too hot or something like this. So this is probably not a very common situation for most of you. Yeah, I guess you probably can't find momos and probably complaining a different language when when it's not exactly what you ordered. And so yeah, so basically we're trying to with the teachers and everyone working on the material, we're trying to figure out what are the main communication situations, communication needs, and interests that you have related to different topics, and to make sure that the content of the courses and the activities are all as relevant as possible. Yeah, last year probably some of you remember I mentioned something about the key to to really like efficient language learning is to make sure that you communicate, you have like real communication, or I use the word honest communication, real communication. Yeah. And so that's really, we're trying to get closer to that. And so it is kind of like uncharted like lands, because yeah, we're learning Tibetan for a very specific reason, and everything happens online. So yeah, so most of the classical topics that you'll find in textbooks are not really relevant. Yeah. And so anyway, so maybe just like yeah, before we get started, yeah, we just want to remind you, like, when yeah, I guess all of you are familiar with textbooks for any other language, like probably English or Portuguese or Spanish or whatever. And so when you think about it, I don't know if when learning, did you ever think about, oh, why did the creators of this course or these textbooks pick this or that subject? Yeah. Maybe some of you thought about this. Yeah. And so when designing a course, when designing material, basically people try to put themselves in the shoes of a student in situation and try to think about what are the most likely situation, communicative needs or communicative situations that students will meet. So usually in the textbook, for English textbooks, people, teachers and material creators, textbook creators think about someone who goes to London or to New York, and they try to think about in their everyday life in an English speaking environment, what are the subjects that are more likely to occur, and or that the students are more likely to encounter, and they try to organize them by order of frequency. So the most common themes will come first, least common will come later, and they also try to organize them according to according to whether they are concrete or abstract. So the concrete will always come first because it's easier. You can see, you can feel and touch, etc. And with concrete topics, there's usually a very strong overlap between languages. A table in Tibetan and table in English and Tibetan and Chinese mean the same thing. There's very little difference in terms of like meaning. Yeah. And the more you get towards the things that are less concrete, then the more difference there will be between languages. Anyway, so that's how, basically, this is just to give you a very quick overview of how textbooks and courses are usually designed, and the CFR with A1, A2, B1, etc. is designed the same way, trying to get the most common communication situations or communication needs or things that people need to be able to do, so can do's. The most common ones and the most concrete ones come first, for us, so pre-A1, A1, etc. And the higher you go, the most abstract and the most like culture dependent it gets. Culture neutral comes first, culture dependent comes later. So it's basically three different things that we have to keep in mind. Okay, so basically for today, since we're doing this exercise with the teachers, and so we would like, last time we some of you contributed some ideas of topics that would be more relevant. An example was that instead of ordering food in restaurants, we want to be able to prepare a talk in Tibetan, with the Lama, or talk about preparing a talk. So that's a very good example of communication situation that is both interesting or potential communication, or for some people a real communication situation. Yeah. Okay, so I shared in the WhatsApp, I shared the link to let me share it here too, to a Jamboard. So it's just a tool to collaborate on. Let me share it again here. So if you could open it. Did everyone get it? The link, yeah. So it's a very, very simple tool, quite limited. And let me just share my screen very quickly. So the main tool that we will be using today is, so this one in the middle, under the arrow. So these are sticky notes. So basically, yeah, so everyone is welcome to create new sticky notes. Yeah. So we're going to work in 3 phases. So I'm going to ask you to, in the first sheet, I'm going to ask every one of you to list all the situations in a year. So basically all the yearly situations where you need to speak Tibetan, want to speak Tibetan, or have an opportunity to speak Tibetan. So when I say speak, it could be write too. So basically to use Tibetan language. Yeah. And yeah, so if all of you can add, yeah, opportunities to use Tibetan in a year. Or maybe let me phrase it. Okay. So in here, basically what we want to do is just add, whatever. So for your own situation, yeah. What are the things that you do once a year or twice a year or something like this? So we'll just add this first. So I'll just start, with an obvious one, which is, let's say, Losar Puja. Okay, that's it. And so for in each of these, at the beginning, I'm going to add a number. Oops. Okay. So let's say if Daniel, do you do something in Tibetan for Losar? Maybe not. Is there someone who does something special for the Losar, maybe in the center, and who has an opportunity to talk in Tibetan for Losar? Neria, I'm sure you have. Yeah. So if you Neria, let me do it for you. So basically, since you have our Losar preparation, maybe a Losar. Okay, preparation. Okay. So since if you also have this situation, then just increase the number, make it 2. Okay, that's it. So we know basically that there are 2 people, and if anyone else on the call has the opportunity to use Tibetan or would like to use Tibetan for the Losar preparations, then please just increase the number. Yeah. Okay, and so we'll do this first for a year, and then we'll move on to a month. Yeah. Sending message to our teacher, very good. Yeah, that's exactly. And please add the number at the beginning. And if you see, a card that also corresponds to your reality, just increase the number. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, so maybe better to, sending message to our teachers. So if this is like something that's more regular, like on a weekly basis or weekly/daily basis, then please keep it for, so we'll do it in two stages. One stage is yearly/monthly. And then the next one will be weekly or daily. Okay, so everything that you do on very regular basis, like daily basis or weekly basis, keep it for the next stage. Okay. Online communication works. Things that you do by yourself, like leaving comment on YouTube, or even like, listening to Tibetan songs. If you do that, please, add it. If you do that just like once a year, hopefully you do it more than once a year if you do it. But anything basically where Tibetan language is involved counts. Okay, Drupchen, you're not allowed to add anything. 개구음도 알아. 저런 개구음도.
Hello?
Yeah, that's good.
Right. No, I'm not going to add anything, but I have a proposition. Something that I wanted to do since a long time is to make a list of all the Khenpos and Lopens that we are asking to come for Sangha outreach and keep their contacts there, so everyone can contact any of them outside of the sessions, of course. Yeah.
Right.
And
things you would like to do count too. Yeah.
So.
And if it's something that is tied to a specific time of the year, such as Losar or maybe like summer teachings or whatever, please add, which time of the year it is. If it's online, please add the tool that you use, if possible. That will be very useful. Yeah. I'm still looking for a translation. I know some of you do translate. Well, guess we could, yeah, separate oral translation or interpretation and written translation. Preparing interpretation. Danny.
There are two that are very similar. Attending online teachings in Tibetan and watch Dharma teachings in YouTube. So maybe they can go together. Like, I cannot move it.
Dharma teachings.
One is on the first line and the other one is on the fourth line, let's say, right under the title. That one. Dharma, first line,
Watch
yellow.
Dharma teachings on YouTube, right.
Mm.
So we are still on the monthly, yearly. Okay.
Yeah. So monthly, yearly. Okay. Okay, so maybe we'll switch. It seems that we got quite a lot of great information. So maybe let's just switch to the next one. Just ask you to come on the next page and we'll do weekly, daily. Okay. So yeah, if you can come on the second page. Okay, perfect. Yep. If you find some more yearly or monthly, you can just go back and add it. Yep. don't forget to add the numbers. Thank you. Okay, I guess we're getting close to it. looks like a couple of students have a Tibetan at home for discussing shopping, and it's quite good. Okay, should we take a quick break, short break, and then move on to the next phase? 10 minutes? Yeah? Okay, 10 minutes. See you. Okay. Okay, so can we move on to the next page? Page number 3. So here, this should go a little bit faster. Yeah, so basically, what are the people you talk to in Tibetan? And or you want to talk to in Tibetan or could talk to in Tibetan? Writing, speaking, and what are the different, like, places? And places count too. Online, yeah, places online count too. Yeah. That was an easy one. The first one. Yeah, for the places, I mean the places where you actually can speak Tibetan. So not the places as a subject. So let's say if you go to your center and you can speak Tibetan there, or maybe if there's a Tibetan restaurant next to where you live and you go and speak Tibetan there, because that's what we mean. Yeah. Yeah, the small organized events, if you can add a little bit of precision, if it's a Tibetan community events or center events, or yeah. Okay, just added something in the main title. So if any of you don't have Tibetan outside of class, with whom to use Tibetan, please, yeah, increase the number. Right now it's 0. Okay. Is this good? So let's move to the last one. The next page and last page, number 4. And so here we talk about like things I would like to contribute to, which involves Tibetan. Involves Tibetan. Okay, just to clarify it, language. Okay, so here, if you can be a little bit precise, if you have like, for example, a specific book you want to translate, or if you want to contribute, on the Buddhist Wikipedia in Spanish, or whatever the project is that you would want to contribute to, and that does or could involve Tibetan language. Yeah.
That's embarrassing.
Embarrassing?
Well, because it's your aspirations.
Oh, we don't know whose aspiration it is. So I guess
Okay.
it's anonymous. Yeah, embarrassing anonymously. Yeah, we have two 84000, so I'm going to merge them. If you add it in both, please delete. I mean, please cut it down one number. Okay. Anything that is needed, is it in Spanish, in Portuguese?
What is Gonchik?
Oh, Gongchik.
Uh-huh.
Jigongkagyu. collection of text or topic. Yeah.
This is translating and interpreting both, right?
Sure. Yeah, anything as long as it involves some Tibetan. It could be writing children's stories in Tibetan. Yeah, whatever. And projects into Tibetan, anything you want to do from other languages into Tibetan or in Tibetan are great too. Yeah.
Here we are talking about brainstorming, just throwing ideas, even impossible things, whatever.
Things that you are really personally interested in and you would want to do. Yeah.
Okay.
Not really whatever. Yeah. Things that you really, would put energy and, really want to do. Yeah. Okay, so I guess we're reaching to the explanations and context. Great. Okay, so now we'll go back to the first slide. We'll go back to the first slide, and this time we're going to add. I'm going to ask each of you to pick the three things that are the most important, most valuable for you. And instead of adding a number at the beginning, we'll add a number at the end, at the end of the text. Yeah. And yeah, so just pick the three items that are the closest to your heart, most important for you, most valuable for you. Yeah. And if you think about things that are missing there, don't hesitate to just add them. Yeah. Okay. Everyone's done? Okay, so let's move on to the second slide and do the same thing.
What was the question, Antonio? Because there's some things we do anyway, like the Dharma Sagar classes or reading sadhanas. So what was the
Yes.
focus? What we want to improve?
No. This is, basically the three things that are your favorite things, or the things that
Okay.
are the most important for you. Yeah,
Okay.
the three most important things. Yeah. Yeah, so I guess the classes probably shouldn't be included. Yeah. Other than classes. Yeah, thank you. Okay, so I guess we can go to the third one. So again, same thing. Just pick the three most important, the three favorites.
So in this one, should we also keep the Dhammasagar out? Because we have the Dhammasagar
Oh,
course guides.
sorry, I was muted. Yeah, yes, please keep Dharmasagar out. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so then the last one. Okay, I guess everyone has finished. Okay, great. So basically we'll use this, as a part of, the improvements to the material and picking the, the projects and activities, during the classes down the road. And so we might, from time to time, we might reach out again to get some feedback and get updates on, these topics. And this year, the teachers will be much more involved in adapting the, the activities and projects and classes, to what is really like important and really interesting for all of you. And so they will. So any feedback that you give will be discussed, by all the teachers together once a week. And so don't hesitate to, send some ideas, feedback about, anything regarding the methodology or the kind of material, or, some ideas about, things that could be done, and that you think that could help you and your classmates to improve, to make basically learning Tibetan more enjoyable. Yeah. So yes, so I guess that's the main thing I wanted to be able to do today. And so next week I'll have another session. We already had like a couple of sessions with the teachers last week and this week, and next week we'll have a session. We'll go through all of this and try to integrate as much as possible, all of this in the material and projects. Yeah. Okay, so is there any question about the format of classes, or whatever regarding the pedagogy, the methodology and material, etc.
Oh, I do have a question. No,
Mhm.
really. I was wondering which would be the person for us to give this feedback and new ideas that you were talking about.
Yeah, we'll let you know on Monday.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you.
Okay.
I would have a question
Mhm.
regarding the projects for the B1.
Mhm.
If they have to be related to the lesson, I was
Mhm.
going through it, but I find it very difficult to have ideas before knowing the material because I don't know the text. So
Yeah.
I think it seems to be something to do a posteriori after the lesson. Then you can plan more exercises on projects up and that, but to do that before, it seems difficult unless the idea of projects is something different from the lesson. I wanted
Right.
you to clarify that.
Yeah. So, okay, so that's a very, very good question, and it's a very good reminder. We had actually discussions about this, and that's something on my to-do list that kind of like was nearly got forgotten. So thanks a lot. So basically, the project should, as much as possible, be connected to the content of lesson, because the whole point is to try. So before the Shijakun Kyab, we're kind of free of having projects that are related to your everyday life and the actual communication situations that you have. But from when we start to work with text, we have to follow the content of text. We can't just like go anywhere. So as much as possible, of course, a lot of projects sometimes won't be exactly related to that, but if it has a connection, it will help you to use the language you're learning in class. And so that's the whole point projects, is to really make it like more interesting, make the learning more interesting and more meaningful. So if
the idea is if I don't know the text, if I don't know the content, I can only write ideas very abstract, like summary or question and answer.
That's right. Yeah.
What do you recommend there?
Yeah. So for this, we had sorry, it took a little bit too long to answer, but basically what I want to say is that we have had like quite a few discussions about this, and so there are actually translations of the old Shijakun Kyab, and there are like some summaries. So what we thought to do is to actually just discuss a little bit the content before picking the project, and if needed, go through the the English, have a quick look, and then then pick the project and start the the classes.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
So we first do the classes and then we think about the project.
No, sorry. I didn't make myself clear enough. So before the project should be like the basis for the class. So basically, when you learn for a purpose. In order to be able to do something with what you learn. So that's why we want to have the project. So before you start to study and before you pick the project, the project should be picked at the beginning before you start that section. And before picking the project, so we will organize a session where we can discuss the content beforehand.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we will also, provide like the English translations, so you can have a quick look first, and so get some ideas if needed.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Okay.
So also I am in the same group of Nereidas, of course. And what about the way, because what's been happening so far in the last semester is that the project was basically those posting at the Wikipedia, but then we did it only on the last day. And so I don't know, that's really not, I mean,
Yeah.
it was not so, I mean, it was of course helpful, but could be much more helpful.
Yeah.
So I don't know if, in my case, what I would really like to do is really have more time to go into depth into that topic of the Seja Kunchab itself. That would be my project, to really be able to talk about it, to discuss it. But for that, the way we are going is like one lesson per class seems very short time to really go into deeper.
Yes.
So we're just like
Yeah.
passing.
Yeah. I have a
Yeah.
same feeling.
So if we could, for me, the best practice would be to really slow down and have time to discuss, have time to write about it, in the class. So I don't know if that counts as a project or not, but in terms of my learning, I think the text is wonderful. It's so rich, and we could really get more from it. That's my feeling.
Right. Okay. That's very good. Very
I
good
do
to hear.
share it. Yeah. She wants to talk more about it. I want to spend more time going through the vocabulary about it to really integrate it. So going a bit slower, I think would be, and I think we are all three of us probably agree.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So the issue with going slower is that's going to take a lot longer because it's a lot of content. And actually, so I mean, we could discuss this, but it will have to, probably have some serious changes to the curriculum and the length of the studies. And so the reason we go through actually quite fast through the text is because the goal of this course is not actually to completely know everything in the text, because for this everyone, like all the teachers involved, they all agree that even 5 years is too short if you really want to go really in depth and really really understand everything. So what our Geshes and teachers we work with on that text mentioned, and I think it's very relevant, is that usually, even like in Shedras, the first few years of study, you actually don't get that much in-depth understanding. And it's only when you get, after like 2 or 3 years, that your, language skills and your, general Buddhist vocabulary is better, that you can start to really, get everything from what you read. And so, so we have to find a way to, make this work.
Could we find the middle way, like one revision class, call it revision class, every 7 or 10 lessons? And then just go through it, recapitulate main subject, and then something like that. Maybe not to slow down all the program, but to have maybe one in depth.
I think that's a very good idea. Yeah, that's a very good. We could try this for sure. And the other thing I would suggest is whatever the subject, whatever the project you want to do. Basically, it has to be more, more present in the classes. So that's definitely, instead of having the project right at the end, then it kind of like defeats the purpose of the whole thing. Yeah. So basically, if you agree, in your class, 3 people, you agree that you're more interested in really having like very clear understanding of specific terms, of like, specialized terminology on the subject, let's say Madhyamika, then maybe have a project where you work on, you know, the definitions of the terms or, you know, something like this in Tibetan or in another language. Yeah. And yeah, basically having these projects is also very useful for, you know, the teachers. So it makes basically, you know, helping you during the class much easier and clearer. So that's yeah, that's also one of the main reasons why we're, you know, moving to, you know, this way of studying. Yeah. Okay, so I noted some more revision classes, and the projects should be more part of the, you know, every class.
Can I add to this?
Sure.
Not to take the whole time for everybody. So I have two things. One is the suggestion is that I completely understand that we have a lot of material to cover. And then we also have, I want to say, a little bit slightly different levels of Tibetan, you know, like Sibel is, you know, she's pretty up there. And then Nerea is second, I would say I'm the third in terms of levels. But it's still, we learn a lot from each other. So I feel that we could take one lesson, each one of us, prepare that with one tutor, and then present it or work with the geshe and present it so that we move forward. Not the main lessons, probably the not so, you know, the geshe would have to identify which are the secondary topics and which are the main topics. But for those secondary topics within our lessons, each one of us can take one and prepare and be able to say, okay, this week she's going to say this in one class, and this week she's going to say this in one, so that we all get the material, but we have had different chance to really digest it differently. I feel like that's one thing that can be considered.
Yeah, one second, sorry, just to make sure I really understood. So basically you're suggesting that, so we have more, you know, guides or, you know, Tibetans
working together.
Yeah.
And the three of us take 3 different lessons and we present it to the group entirely. So I'm in charge of lesson 1, Nadia in charge of lesson 2, and Sibel in charge of lesson 3, for example.
Okay.
These are the subtopics, not the main topics.
Right. So that would mean that basically you take 3 times less lessons each.
Basically, it means that because we were practicing our listening, right? We're practicing how they're presenting the lesson. We are responsible for that material, not we're responsible for the basic aspects of the material, but each one who's in charge of preparing their lesson is responsible for the in-depth of the material.
Right. Okay, I get it. So you still have, you know, the classes at the same rhythm.
You still cover them.
But when designing the project, you're each in charge. You basically, you know, split the project from the beginning, you know, between yourselves. And so you have like one smaller, you know, section to focus on and to go really in depth. That's what you mean?
I think so. Yes, I think so.
Okay.
So that we cover all the material, but not everybody's going to cover it the same. But in the project, it will reflect the depth of each one of us.
Okay.
That's one idea.
I think that's good. I think that's very good. Yeah. So, okay, just to make sure I really got it. So let's say the lessons are the Four Noble Truths, and there are 4 students. Yeah. And so basically when deciding, you know, whatever you do with the Four Noble Truths, each student gets one of the truths.
Well, the first thing is that the geshe has to give the overall of the 4 Noble Truths. There's the main topic, right? And then the specifics of that noble truth should be then taken by each student. And then that 4th, then we have to cover it together, you know, but something like this. The geshe still has to be very, very involved in presenting the information to us or clarifying ideas, but we should be able to work with one tutor very closely for questions. And then we should be able to rotate that tutor per project or per week or something, you know, whatever. When we finish our assignment, then we should have a different tutor as we keep doing that.
Okay.
That's one idea. And then my need is that I need to have a little bit more understanding of how to research the material online. So that's like basic BDRC, all of them. I need to know how to access the information because the way it is in our languages versus Tibetan is different. So I still have a very hard time finding resources, and also because I'm strapped for time right now, maybe in the future I won't. I don't have the whole time to teach myself to get
Right.
to what I need.
Okay. Okay, very good. So yeah, that's very good. So that's my, yeah, one of my jobs is actually to work on the, with BDRC, especially specifically for that, preparing tutorials on how to get in Tibetan and how to access the information. Yeah. Okay, very good. Anything else? No? Okay. So I guess we're good.
Oh,
And
Sorry. Can
go ahead.
I just came up with something about what Angelica said, that we all have the need to learn to research. So maybe instead of just giving them one tutorial, maybe we could appoint one day and we all learn, and will be
Yes.
good for everyone.
Even
Of course.
researching 84,000, I still have to. It's so much in there. I still don't know how to get what I really need.
Right. Okay. That's very good. Yeah. So for 84,000, I guess we'll need to, ask someone from their team to help with that. For BDRC, yeah, I have some colleagues who basically spend their day writing tutorials for BDRC. So I think that will be good. And it will be in Tibetan and for, everyone at the same time. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Oh, sorry everyone because of my mistake with the link at the beginning, because it was the first time I was just putting everything in calendar and came up without wanting. So sorry. Promise I'll take it.
No problem, Marina.
So
no
we are
problem.
back in 2 hours?
Already
Yeah.
Brazilian time. We have the
11:30.
deep stock in this same link.
Okay.
Thank
Okay.
you.
Thank
Thank you
you.
so much.
all.
Thanks a lot.
Thank you,
See you
Marina.
soon. Yeah.
See you later.